Most of you have already heard about the drama.
Dramas.
No, not drama. Drama.
Dramas.
No, Lauren. Drama.
Dramas.
Draw. Ah sound. Ah.
Dramas.
Not eh.
Dramas.
Ah. Not eh.
Dramas.
All right, I guess we'll go with controversy surrounding the Oscars and Will Smith striking Chris Rock because his wife didn't like a joke and she made this face while Will Smith was laughing.
Dramas.
By the way, I'm going to be at Better Discourse 4 Saturday, April 23rd in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Link to the tickets in the description, betterdiscourseevents.com, and I'm going to be looking forward to hanging out and meeting people like Lauren Southern.
Dramas.
Sorry, Lauren, you can't speak because you're Canadian. I had to point it out. Now, I already gave you the one true take on Will Smith smacking Chris Rock. I brought it down from the heavens, bestowed it upon you on the audience, and my opinion is actually fact. So if you disagree with me, it's not a difference in opinion, you are just factually wrong. However, that doesn't mean there aren't terrible takes. And when it comes to terrible takes, and I've been waiting for this since the slap happened, the Real Talk, which is the discount third string knockoff of The View, always delivers, and they did deliver in this case. But before we get into that, I want to talk about our loyal sponsor. We're going to run into the ad, and then we're going to go to the video on the other side. We're going to get right into it. It's going to be amazing. Supporting the sponsors supports the channel. I'm sure you guys have heard stories about people earning tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars investing in cryptocurrency. Believe me, I know you heard, because crypto people can't shut up about it. But did you know there's actually a way for you to earn all this investing in crypto and avoid paying capital gains tax? If you open up a crypto Roth IRA with My Digital Money, you can watch your gains grow over time and take them out upon retirement tax-free. And luckily for you guys out there, not only does this company have a great product, but they have great US-based customer service. On top of that, if you open up a crypto Roth IRA with My Digital Money, they will give you $50 if you invest $1,000 in the Roth IRA. That's a pretty damn good deal. That is mydigitalmoney.com. Again, mydigitalmoney.com. So the Real Talk gave us 11 minutes of glory on this topic in their video about the biggest fight at the Oscars, as if there were other physical altercations at the Oscars, and of them questioning who is to blame, Will Smith or Chris Rock. Now, I've already stated clearly and obviously that the person who tells a joke is not at fault. The person who physically attacks that person is in fact at fault, especially when they're attacking them based on their uncomfortableness with their own status in their own relationship. Just look into the history of Will Smith and how Jada Pinkett Smith talks about how she's sleeping with other people, including a friend of her son Jaden, in public repeatedly, as if she is ritually humiliating her husband. But the Real Talk gals might have a different take, and in fact, they do have a different take. That's the whole reason we're covering it. So without further ado, with all the setup out of the way, with me laying the groundwork, let's get into the crazy.
Take a look at this moment.
Jada, I love you. G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see it. All right? That was a nice one. Okay. Uh-oh, Richard. Oh, wow. Wow. Will Smith just smacked the out of me.
Keep my wife's name out your mouth.
Wow, dude.
Yes.
It was a G.I. Jane joke.
Keep my wife's name out your mouth.
I'm going to, okay?
Right. Well, while we all witnessed the smackdown heard around the world, many are feeling as if Chris Rock deserved the backhand for taking shots at Jada Pinkett Smith.
Many feel like Chris Rock deserved the backhand. Unfortunately, in our culture where words are often equated to violence, that is true. And obviously, this is going to be the premise that most, if not all, I'm not going to spoil the whole video for you guys, of these panelists are going to go with, and I'm going to disassemble that argument repeatedly over and over again, and the stupider versions of it, like if you disagree with Will Smith, a black man smacking Chris Rock, another black man, you are somehow racist out there in the world.
I'm still like this from watching the clip. Wow.
I think the rest of the world was too.
Yeah.
I felt what Will did in my spirit, and I don't know if it's because I'm now a mom and also married in a healthy relationship. What we witnessed in public was a black man defending his wife in public amidst the risk of losing jobs, amidst the award we knew that was coming up.
I felt what Will Smith felt in my spirit, and what we witnessed on that stage on that fateful night was a black man defending his wife in public, at the risk of losing jobs, at the risk of losing opportunities, at the risk of all these things that weren't actually risked by Will Smith, because what we actually saw in that moment is actors who are entitled brats who don't like any criticism. They're surrounded by yes men, striking back against a comedian who is up there to mildly roast them just to show them they're not above criticism. But Will Smith's wife can't take even that mild roast, so of course we gotta present Will Smith as some kind of a hero for sucker punching, or sucker slapping. Again, he didn't punch him, but he didn't tell him the fight was starting before he took a swing at him. Chris Rock on a stage where it was wildly inappropriate. So stunning, so brave. Obviously, strike one for the panel of people. Wrong side of the issue. And by the way, I don't believe her relationship is healthy if she thinks this is logical and sensible in terms of her response.
Amidst the risk of losing jobs, amidst the award we knew that was coming up, amidst risking arrest charges.
Also, the idea that Will Smith was risking any of this, including arrest, remember, Chris Rock decided to not press charges in this situation. So what we ended up finding out is that Will Smith, as a black celebrity, is incredibly privileged and entitled. He wasn't even escorted out of the Oscars by security. If you're one of the guests who actually paid a bunch of money to get a ticket to the Oscars and you're actually in this event, and you even approach the stage and you're not famous, you're not Will Smith, you would have been escorted out. I'll take it one step further. If you are a non-black celebrity and you walk up to the stage and strike a black man in front of everybody on national television, you are going to be escorted out. That's the way that this works. Will Smith's privilege allowed him to be seated front and center, allowed him to do this, and still has people defending him despite the fact that he ultimately struck somebody for telling a mild joke.
But what I didn't like is that you could see in Chris's eyes when he spoke on it, he gingerly went for the joke out of his eye, like, I'm gonna go here, like trying them, knowing that he was going there. And then after he dished it, he still even looked like, okay, we good?
So this point is incredibly stupid in every possible way. The whole point of having a comedian, a real comedian, not Amy Schumer, at the Oscars in order to lightly roast these actors is because these actors, you know they're gonna get awards, you know they're there to get accolades, you know that this is a fancy dinner at what ultimately is an industry awards program that is televised, where they're there for attention. This is the one moment where they get taken down a peg, and Chris Rock wasn't anywhere near as brutal as Ricky Gervais was in the Golden Globes. He gave a light joke, and because he's probably friendly with these people, or at least they know the same people, he was looking at them like, we're good, we're having fun. We know Will Smith is about to win an award. It's all fun and games. It's not a big deal or anything like that. The idea that he was like, oh, not brave enough when he went there or anything like that, and he was checking to see if they're okay, therefore he deserved the punch, therefore Chris Rock is less of a man, is absolutely absurd in every possible way. You have no point.
And he kind of withdrew from it. I feel like if you're willing to take a risk, and tell me, I'm so interested to hear the comedian perspective, but when you're willing to take a risk at people personally and you hit at their family members, especially the Smiths that have gone through so much ridicule already, especially just recently, the last award show, already with the entanglement question, like, how much do you expect this man to take about his family and his marriage?
So I've seen a lot of people talk about how Will Smith is repeatedly mocked and made fun of and emasculated, mostly by his wife in public, and how that makes Will Smith allegedly, theoretically, hypothetically a victim in this scenario. But here's the thing, Jada Pinkett Smith is Will Smith's second wife. So the idea that Will Smith doesn't know how to get divorced, and if you're thinking, oh, well, Will Smith has 2 kids with her, Will Smith has a kid with his first wife, is ridiculous. If Will Smith wanted out of the relationship, he could get out of the relationship. Rather than doing that, he agreed to be in an open marriage, and he agreed to be in an open marriage with somebody who has no standards, no respect for him, who sleeps with his son's friend and rapper, so somebody who also has a platform to gain attention. And it's all public, it's all thrown out there, and he's sticking with it. Not only that, he's defending this woman from mild jokes with physical assaults on what is supposed to be his night. So no sympathy for Will Smith. If he wanted out of this relationship, he can get out of the relationship. It's not a big deal. Do it yourself, Will Smith. You don't get to strike other people due to the internal conflicts you feel in your own heart.
So what I saw, and I ask you back when it comes to wives out there, what do you expect your man to do when it comes to protecting you?
What do you expect your man to do when it comes to protecting you? Not make a fool of himself, not physically assault somebody for telling a joke at a fancy dinner, at an industry award show, not be absurd and ridiculous in every possible way? Maybe these should be higher on Jada Pinkett Smith's list than, oh, go assault Chris Rock because I have a stupid angry face because I'm bitter and a nasty person and I'm toxic for your career and for your image, Will. And I don't want people to point out that, so you gotta go do some toxic stuff that destroys your image in the public for me. And also Scientology, you can't let the non-believers step up to any of the real believers like that. You got to put them in their place because Scientology.
Wow.
Lonnie, what do you think?
It's so many emotions that happened
Thank you.
that night. It's so many different things. Okay, so this was personal. Chris has done this before. When he was hosting the Oscars, he lashed out at Jada and Will Smith.
So needless to say, even in a stupid, poppy entertainment story like this, even this person who's usually the best of the worst on the Real Talk, you're not getting the full story there. The reason Chris Rock was making fun of Jada Pinkett Smith is because Jada Pinkett Smith was participating in the Oscars So White thing in public, and she was smearing all the black people who showed up to the Oscars, including Chris Rock, who was the host. And Jada Pinkett Smith, part of the reason why she was boycotting the Oscars was not because she's a fierce advocate for social justice and fighting against racism, because actors should be able to get industry awards along with their multi-million-dollar paychecks. It was because Will Smith, for years now, has been doing movies like biopics for the sole purpose of winning an Oscar in order to soothe his ego, and Jada Pinkett Smith was angry that they weren't nominating her husband specifically. That's why she jumped on the bandwagon, and she thought Chris Rock, who got the gig to host the Oscars, should have followed suit, bowed his head, and did what she told him, and Chris Rock wasn't playing that. Unlike Will Smith, Chris Rock is capable of standing up to Jada Pinkett Smith. So that's the actual story. That's why the Smiths don't like Chris Rock, because Chris Rock is a comedian, and he didn't participate in their call to action based on the fact that Will Smith didn't get nominated for an industry award.
So I believe, I don't know for sure, that there was probably some conversation. And it's like, dude, stop it. Then, to your point, Jeannie, he puts out the book, the entanglement thing happens.
So for those of you who are unaware, who aren't hip to your pop culture like I am, entanglement is what the Smith family calls Jada Pinkett Smith sleeping with somebody who's not Will Smith, it getting out into the public and causing embarrassment, shame, and humiliation for Will Smith. And the specific case that they're talking about is the 20-year-old rapper who is Jaden, their child, Will and Jada's child, his friend that Jada Pinkett Smith thought it was a good idea to sleep with repeatedly, who came out publicly and announced the affair and shamed and attacked Will Smith. On top of that, Jada Pinkett Smith has not been shy about shaming Will Smith based on his performance, you know where, and all this stuff that she just puts out there into the world that repeatedly emasculates Will Smith.
He's going through a lot, and he said it in his acceptance speech.
Right, yeah.
That it's,
Yeah.
you know, we are expected to hold up to a certain standard.
Yeah. Yes.
So when you hear there's a lot of emotions going around, when you hear Will Smith is going through a lot of inner turmoil, that is all on his wife, who has no regard and no respect for him, and then expects him to attack a comedian based on the fact that he told a mild joke about her appearance. God forbid anybody address Jada Pinkett Smith in a way that isn't bowing down to her glory. Will Smith, go attack that person. Come on, Will. Don't even announce that there's a fight. Just take a cheap shot at him and try to embarrass him publicly because you're angry, and then flip out, lose your mind because you feel emasculated every single day you're married to this woman.
As a comedian, I would not have done that joke on Will's night. Will was sitting front and center for a reason.
Imagine this level of entitlement. As a comedian, I would not have told that mild joke that wasn't even funny, by the way, that didn't even have a good punch to it on Will Smith's night. The Oscars was this ceremony to glorify Will Smith, and I wouldn't have tried to diminish that in any way at all. Don't try to roast the person who's a celebrity at a celebrity party where all these multimillionaire celebrities congratulate themselves and talk about how awesome they are. That's really horrible. That's really terrible in every way. It was Will Smith's night. He was sitting front and center. Will Smith is entitled to go to these events and never face any backlash backlash or criticism at all because it's Will Smith's night. The Oscars should be named the Will Smiths, just rename it, because every night should be Will Smith's night. How dare you, Chris Rock, tell a very mild joke about Will Smith's wife after telling an actual joke about the previous couple, which, by the way, one of them was a nominee for the same award as Will Smith, and how they were both nominated for awards, and how the other person, the wife, would not be happy if she lost and the husband won. Will Smith's night, though, it's horrible in every way. It's just Will Smith's night. Why don't you tell jokes like Amy Schumer about gays?
Well, we're gonna have a great night tonight, and for you people in Florida, we're gonna have a gay night.
And for you, all the people that you could joke about, you look at this one woman who you've already done, and you could tell, and for a minute, Will was gonna let it slide.
Yeah.
But when
He was laughing initially,
he was
yeah.
laughing initially, but when you see
your wife's
Jada,
pain.
then that's when it hit
Yes,
him.
yeah, yes.
Now, would I walked up and hit him? No, I probably would have stood up. I probably would have did something like that and verbally said something.
Yeah.
But we all thought for a minute, oh, this is,
this
he
is
could
it.
walk up and, he could have walked up to him and said something. But I think Will has been going through so much in this country and being ridiculed and being mocked that sometimes you snap.
And then he saw the pain of his wife, who's a self-entitled brat who surrounds herself with yes men, who never tolerates criticism, who does whatever she wants, not liking the fact that Chris Rock, one of the most famous comedians in the world, is allowed to say anything joke related to her. That's when Will Smith would have went up. And now look, would I have actually hit Chris Rock? Probably not me personally, but can we really judge Will Smith, this multi-million-dollar actor who's about to get an award, who should be used to being made fun of, who's actually had way worse things said about him? Can we really blame him and expect him to comport to the same standards as any other human being on planet Earth? Can we really expect that? Will Smith has such a hard life, man. Such a difficult life. Will Smith, so sad, so stunning, so brave. Will Smith.
Now, the thing is, this is the problem with us, and then I'm gonna let you ladies speak. You got the black side that's arguing it, then you have the white side. I'm just being honest,
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
The white people are looking at, this is assault, this is a mark on the Oscars.
First of all, if you're saying that this is assault, you're just wrong. In California, assault is a threat of violence, the intimidation that goes along with violence. In reality, the striking in the state of California would be battery. So if you're going to call this anything, call it battery. So you're just wrong in that regard. That being said, the idea that this should be divided into a black and white issue is absurd, but of course, they're trying to make the distinction that Will Smith's behavior is acceptable because he's a black man, and of course, the soft bigotry of no expectations. Even a multimillionaire who has a night designed in part to honor him with one of the most important awards, it's probably one of the 5 awards that people care about in the Oscars, all of a sudden, you need to cater to him. You can't expect him to behave himself in any way, shape, or form. Soft bigotry.
Let me tell you something. This is not the darkest moment of the Oscars. You know what the darkest moments are? When Halle Berry was kissed without her permission from Adrian Brody.
Ooh.
When Hattie McDaniel, who was a nominee for supporting actress, was not allowed to sit with her cast in an all-white theater.
Yeah.
Don't come to me talking about this is the darkest moment, because it was not. There have been some other very dark moments in Oscar history.
Did you know that there was racism in the past? Did you know that there was racism in the past? Did you know that? Did you know that the past had some racism? Did you know that if you ignore the concept of things happening long ago and talk about now, you racism in the past? So if you're saying this is the worst thing that happened to the Oscars, need I mention that there was racism in the past when Gone with the Wind came out, which I think came out in the 1930s? Racism, how about that? So if you're upset at Will Smith, why aren't you mad at the racism that happened nearly 100 years ago in the Oscars, huh? Why aren't you mad about that? There was racism over there. Segregation was a thing over there, and you're going to talk about Will Smith doing something yesterday as if more recent makes it more relevant? Calm down. Racism in the past.
But as a comic, I would have never did that type of joke. I just would not have.
As a comic, I would have never did that type of joke. How dare you in any way go after the stunning and brave Jada Pinkett Smith, this pillar of our community, this person who lures people into Scientology and abuses them, allegedly abuses them. Jada Pinkett Smith. So wonderful, so stunning, so brave.
There's a lot of, like you said, there's a lot of layers to this. First of all,
Yes.
this is the first time that we had a black man producing the Oscars. Will
Yes.
Packer.
Will
This is
Packer.
the first time that we had.
Yes.
Yes, clap. First time a black man has produced the Oscars and two black men get into the fight, and that's the only story. They completely overshadowed the black person who won Best Documentary Film, which is what Will Smith was supporting. Yeah.
We had
Yes.
3 females hosting the Oscars, and 2 of them being women of color.
Yes.
This
Yeah, Amy Schumer, Regina King, Wanda Sykes. Let's see some of their amazing material from that evening. It's 3 hosts, and they totally killed it.
This year, the Academy hired 3 women to host because it's cheaper than hiring 1 man.
But I'm still excited to be hosting, representing black women who are standing proud.
Yes, and living out loud. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. And I
And representing unbearable white women who call the cops when you get a little too loud.
This year we saw a frightening display of how toxic masculinity turns into cruelty towards women and children.
Damn that Mitch McConnell.
Well, we're gonna have a great night tonight, and for you people in Florida, we're gonna have a gay night. Gay.
And by killed it, I mean they made you want to die when you listen to the punchline of any of their jokes.
So all that right there was an amazing moment for
Yes.
us last night.
Yes.
Chris Rock was wrong and picking on a black woman.
Yes. Why?
It was wrong. Just don't do it.
All of that was an amazing moment for us. And Chris Rock, how dare you joke about a black woman? You were wrong in doing that. Jada Pinkett Smith is a god, not just because of her rank in Scientology, you know, because they built a compound, which by the way has a bunch of abuse allegations and all that stuff. Allegedly, don't worry about it. No, Jada Pinkett Smith is actual literal god-like royalty, and how dare you even think Chris Rock, the comedian, the black comedian, you have the right to make any mild joke about Jada Pinkett Smith. Jada Pinkett Smith is basically a saint. I need to get rid of my Saint Fauci candles and replace them with Saint Jada candles because she's so stunning and brave and stunning and brave. And it's so beautiful how she humiliates her husband consistently and ruins his night with the stupid face that she was making because she can't take a joke and she's so bitter and entitled. And we're just going to feed into that.
Yeah.
Just don't do the joke. The joke wasn't funny anyway.
It was
but
not.
my thing is, violence is never okay. It is never
agree with
okay.
this.
Don't do the joke, Chris. Don't do the joke. Don't do it. But violence is never okay. But here's the thing. Don't do the joke, Chris. Don't do it. How dare you, you scumbag. And by the way, for those of you who are going to say, look, I saw in the media that Will and Jada aren't Scientologists. They just built a school for children to indoctrinate them into this education system that heavily featured L. Ron Hubbard. I mean, that's all I have to say to you people.
It is never
I agree with
okay.
this.
I was disappointed to see on that platform that a black man went and hit another black man. That was not okay. I wish Will Smith had gotten up and got up there and said to Chris, let me tell you about alopecia. Let me tell you what happens with alopecia. Can I tell you, Chris Rock would have been this small.
So after first saying that Chris Rock was in the wrong, which is false, it's inaccurate, it's not a good take, it's a horrible take, and it's embarrassing, she finally works her way around to saying violence is bad, but her suggestion about what Will Smith should have done is absurd in every possible way. Will Smith, according to her, should have walked up there with his big boy pants at the Oscars, taken the mic from Chris Rock and said, listen, Christopher, I'm going to tell you about alopecia. America, I'm going to tell you about the condition that's afflicting my wife. And Chris Rock would have felt that small. He would have got owned and everybody would have clapped. It's like one of those Facebook memes, except you're at the Oscars, so you have a bunch of cringe-worthy leftists there, millionaire leftists, so they probably all would have clapped for that. But that would have been one of the most embarrassing moments ever, and if you thought the ratings went up because of the fight, this would have been the antigen to that, and the ratings would have tanked forever.
Right? He would have also educated people about alopecia, and he would have looked like a star.
You really
right?
think
No, he would not have looked like a star, but he would have convinced the American people that not only are the acceptance speeches total leftist garbage, nonsense virtue signals, but now actors at any point in time during the course of the show can walk up on the stage and virtue signal ridiculously, repeatedly. It would have been the dumbest thing that Will Smith could have possibly done. Honestly, I think him trying this would have been hilarious, especially with Chris Rock still up there able to make jokes about Will Smith's public service announcement that he just decided to dedicate to his wife. Again, part of the humiliation ritual that he has to go through in order for Jada to disrespect him more in public. But yeah, absurd in every possible way, terrible take. Nobody would have liked this. The slap at least got attention for the Oscars, so I guess Will Smith did do his job in getting people to watch the Oscars, but other than that, this is just a terrible argument.
Chris Rock would have responded.
You know what? But I just think that violence is never
No, it's that reaction, but every action has an equal and opposite reaction.
Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. Let me make this clear. Let me make this obvious. Words are not violence. Words are not bullets. Words need to be distinguished between violence and bullets. What Will Smith gave was not an equal and opposite reaction. It was a minor joke. Will Smith escalated to physical violence. It was totally inappropriate. Again, equivocating, excusing, all the garbage you would expect from the fourth string knockoff of The View.
The ones that put all their things out there.
Yeah,
they put all their things out there. So what do you expect people to do?
But it's about also respect. And I think that he's been getting, you just snap. That's the thing. That's what people forget. You joke about
You're
people
human.
and you gotta look at them.
We watched him go through definitely a roller coaster of emotions last night.
Yes, Jada Pinkett Smith humiliates Will Smith in public. You have comedians that are up there in part to roast him. You have Jada Pinkett Smith who's sitting right next to him, basically trying to take credit for all this because she wants the whole campaign claiming the Oscars are racist because her husband didn't get nominated. Now the Oscars are basically bending to her will due to the fact that she's so privileged and has such a privileged status in Hollywood. So Chris Rock was trying to take her down a peg because she deserves to be taken down a peg. And what Will Smith was probably angry at is the fact that Chris Rock isn't afraid of his wife like he is.
And let's remember the Smiths, and whether you like it or not, I saw them start to slowly get canceled for being the most beautiful trait that I think is hardest for humans to experience in their life, vulnerable. They were being real about the fact that we have our ups and downs. We've made some weird choices in our life. We're not the typical marriage. We're still standing today. And they got dragged for that.
The most beautiful trait that you could have in your life humanly possible. This is absurd in every possible way. The idea that the Smith family is being canceled for being open. No, they're being made fun of because they're putting all their dirty laundry out there in the public and then getting mad at people for bringing it up, getting mad at comedians for not even bringing it up like it was not brought up in this special. And honestly, they're not getting canceled because 50% of the population of the United States is absolutely insane, or at least 50% of the social media population, including members of Congress like Ayanna Pressley, who also has that same autoimmune thing that Jada Pinkett Smith has. So, of course, she endorsed this violence in response to speech, are actually supporting and equating and justifying what Will Smith's actions are. This was not a canceling by any stretch of the imagination. This is essentially Hollywood wokeness who don't believe that as long as you say the right things, you should be held accountable for any of your actions, versus comedians who think this sets a horrible precedent, and free speech activists who know this sets a horrible precedent. That's what's going on. Will Smith isn't being canceled. Large portions of the media are totally on his side, making excuses for him and talking about how you can't have any expectations for him because he's a black man, which is what these people are saying on this show, and it's embarrassing.
And then now it's almost like you gave permission to the society to go ahead and make jokes at them. And he laughed about it.
You're not allowed to hit someone. You're not allowed to hit another man on national television at the Oscars.
I completely agree with you, Garcelle.
Not a good look.
Now, I love giving credit where credit is due, even after I'm ripping somebody apart. And even though this woman was saying Chris Rock was in the wrong, which is nonsensical in every possible way, even though she was making excuses, she doesn't like the blatant, open excuses that the other panelists are making. So she is making it clear that this physical violence is unacceptable, and credit where credit is due. Among these terrible position holders that are all on this panel, she appears to be the best right now. However, we're gonna go to the person, the absolute hilarious person, and you just trust me, you wanted to see this the whole time.
And I think all around, it was sad. Like, we just gotta keep it real. It was sad. I'm gonna tell you why it was sad on so many multiple levels. One, it was sad because all the things that you just mentioned right now about historic moments happening. Will Smith is the fifth black man to ever receive that award in 94 years.
Right.
94 years of a show. Fifth one to win.
This is so sad, such a sad, sad story. Will Smith is the fifth person to ever receive this award in 94 years. That is unbelievably shameful and ridiculous that Will Smith didn't get this reward. I mean, black men make up 6% of the population, and 5 out of 94 is very close to that, but it's very, very, very sad if you think about it. So sad, so sad, so sad.
Questlove had an amazing moment that is completely overshadowed by, like you said, the smack heard around the world. I hate that such a dope moment in his life was overshadowed by the, and if I'm honest, you could see that in his acceptance speech. Yeah.
So what they're talking about is the guy, the black man who won Best Documentary Film, which by the way was the award that Chris Rock was presenting when all this happened, and how he was completely overshadowed by Will Smith, who has to grab all the attention in the world. That being said, trust me, her statement's gonna get so much more outrageous.
Yeah, you could definitely see
that now.
Everybody was unnerved.
And everybody has experienced new level, new devil.
Yes.
Whatever that meant for you when the devil did hit you and you probably didn't react. You felt what Will Smith said.
Everybody experiences new level, new devil. Will Smith won an award and he reached a new level, so obviously he's entitled to be bad, and we need to show Will Smith some grace. Chris Rock, totally in the wrong. Chris Rock, how dare you joke about our god, Jada Pinkett Smith? How dare you attack a black woman with the mildest joke humanly possible? New level, new devil. Will Smith justified. He needs our grace because, I mean, this ceremony was basically largely for him. He got the reward and the adulation. All he had to do was not act like a total ass in the ceremony. He couldn't live up to that bare minimum standard. Now people are attacking him. New level, new devil, though. All good in the hood. New level, new devil. I'm just going to use that every time I do something bad. I'm going to be like, listen, I hit 150,000 subscribers. New level, new devil. Period, point blank, end of sentence. You can't attack me for anything because new level, new devil.
Yeah, let's have some grace there too.
We should absolutely show him grace, and I'm so glad that hopefully he has a community. When I say community, that's all of us around him to say, yes, we may not agree with it, but we're not going to cancel you. Instead, we're going to embrace you with love and grace and try to understand what led to that.
Oh, we need to give him grace and have a community, and we could all be that community that surrounds Will Smith and embraces him with love and praises him nonstop. Here's the thing. That is exactly the problem. That is 100% the opposite of what needs to happen. Will Smith and all of these actors, Jada Pinkett Smith especially, are basically isolated from criticism. They're surrounded by yes men who screen all the things that they have to interact with, and all they get is adulation and praise, and this is why actors think that their political takes are valuable when they're totally worthless, and that they're smarter than they actually are. So when Chris Rock tells a joke, these actors are like, whoa, how dare he? Everybody in my life, in every situation, undyingly praises me to the hilt. They treat me like a god, and this comedian is saying that I'm not perfect. Will Smith, go attack that man. So this is the exact problem, and it's being presented as the solution because in reality, all of these celebrities are isolated to a certain extent in a similar way, even though it's not as extreme as Will and Jada Pinkett Smith.
Chris Rock feels right now.
Yeah, well,
he's not pressing charges.
Yeah, Chris Rock did not press charges.
No, I know that.
I think they're going to have a conversation. I think they're going to, it's a needed conversation.
So this is before Will Smith's Instagram post, which is his publicist writing out a phony apology to Chris Rock. So they didn't have a conversation. Will Smith didn't address this man to man. Will Smith cowered and basically put out an apology for the public so people would stop making fun of his wife, but he didn't actually address the situation directly.
It's just not a good look for us, you guys.
Oh, no, it's not a good look.
It wasn't a good look for us.
It does not define all black people, though.
No, absolutely not.
100% clear, because I think there's guilt.
It sucks,
There's some guilt.
So then we pivot to this doesn't define all black people, which by the way is obviously true. Chris Rock, who was struck, is a black person. He acted with grace. He did not act with the entitlement that Will and Jada Pinkett Smith acted with. But considering throughout the course of this video, they've been making the case that Will Smith was just a black man defending his woman, and you can't expect Will Smith to behave himself at the normal, reasonable level at the Oscars because of what he's going through. And this person legitimately said it is a black side and a white side to this issue. It seems like they're trying to have it both ways and say that this does represent black people, but it's good, but also it doesn't represent black people if you're trying to make it a bad thing. Obviously, my position, which is the correct position, is that it doesn't, and if it does, in terms of the produced, first ever black produced Oscars, again, I will admit when I was wrong to those black activists. Obviously, the Oscars way more entertaining when produced by a black person. So if it does, congratulations, Oscar producer. You killed it in every possible way. I'm making now my second video about it. Very impressed, very stunning, very brave. And I admit when I'm wrong. I didn't think it would be that different if it was produced by a black person. But if this is the effect, congratulations. Every year, have people fight. Very, very cool. Have entitled rich brats try to fight and cry about it afterwards.
It sucks terribly that sadly there are people who want to run with the stereotype that black men are violent.
So right now the pivot is happening, and the pivot of course is to evil white racists, which is kind of ridiculous because they made a point to tell you that these were two black men having an altercation, the Oscars were produced by a black man, and once again we have a scenario where we're talking about the evil white racists, even though again no white people are involved in this situation at all. On top of that, if you believe every black male is violent, you're a bit absurd. You're a bit ridiculous. We all get that. We all understand that. But to ignore the fact that statistically black men commit more violent crime is absurd. These people do deny those statistics. And on top of that, the only reason they're excusing this is because Will Smith is a black man. Again, put two white people in there, they'll talk about how it's white privilege. Put a white person, God forbid, striking a black comedian on the stage, a white actor, they're canceling them, they're shutting them down. It doesn't matter if the joke was far more brutal. They're going to say, wow, white privilege if this person wasn't arrested. So all this talk, all this defense, all this interference being run for Will and Jada Pinkett Smith is based on the fact that they're black. And again, you don't have to take my word for it. They describe Will Smith as a black man defending his wife. They say Chris Rock should not have dared went after the god Jada Pinkett Smith because she's a black woman.
That black men are violent.
Exactly.
That black men, like, and I hate
Hate. Wait, isn't this the How chick? How? How? Hey. How? Hey, how? Hey.
That defeats. That is upsetting. But again, Will Smith is a human.
Yeah.
It's not about his race, and he had a human moment.
He was talking, we all visibly saw was hurt by that comment.
Yeah. Clearly, yeah.
And I also don't know, although I agree with you that violence isn't the right answer, but Chris Rock's rebuttal immediately after that, and I know he was kind of just trying to joke it off, but I didn't feel like he really got it.
So again, the girl that's totally not excusing violence, the girl that's totally not defending Will Smith striking Chris Rock, is talking about how Chris Rock's reaction to play it off, his graceful reaction. You know how they talked about how Will Smith deserves grace? Well, Chris Rock acted with grace in that situation where Will Smith, without any justification, went up to strike him. He was telling a joke and he said it was a G.I. Jane joke, and Will Smith is reacting out of proportion with the situation. That's ridiculous, but it's about to get even worse.
Still, I think reading all of the responses of people, women, black women, all of that, then it might be sinking in. But his immediate reaction after getting smacked the heck out.
Yeah, because saying it was just a G.I. Jane joke.
But I would roll it right on that first, like, yo, you know what, man? I'm sorry. I'm doing my bit and you're right. I went too far. Say that.
Absolutely not. No way in hell should Chris Rock ever, and I mean ever, apologize to Jada Pinkett Smith or Will Smith for anything that he said on the stage.
Yo, you know what, man? I'm sorry. I'm doing my bit and you're right. I went too far. Say that.
The idea that Chris Rock should take a slap from Will Smith, an open sign of disrespect, Will Smith trying to humiliate him because, again, he feels, and this is in his book, by the way, I'm not making this up, that his manhood is always in question by smacking him across the face on stage at the Oscars, and Chris Rock owes him an apology. No way, absolutely not. Chris Rock should never apologize. If he does, I'm totally not on board with Chris Rock anymore. Not one concession to Will Smith. The joke was bland and forgettable. The only thing Chris Rock should maybe consider apologizing for is that he didn't strike Jada Pinkett Smith much harder because she deserves it.
I think, although people may have looked at it and said, yeah, it was a G.I. Jane joke, it was very lighthearted. You could see he laughed at first, saw Jada's reaction of rolling the eyes, and it was a reminder of the nights that we don't know about.
Exactly.
It's the nights that this woman has cried. We don't know what she's gone through. And it was him going, oh, hell no, I'm not tolerating
And like
this.
I said, Chris Rock has been doing stuff to them, doing jokes to them. So this was personal.
No, absolutely not. Absurd in every way. They're trying to justify the violence of Will Smith that night in response to jokes. So the idea that Chris Rock has been doing this to them for a long time, he's been doing jokes to them for a long time, therefore it's justified, insane in every possible way. Will Smith deserves to be taken down a peg. Jada Pinkett Smith deserves to be taken down about 30 pegs because she has isolated herself from all criticism at all whatsoever, that she can make a face at Will Smith because her ego is challenged by a mild joke, and Will Smith can act out like this and ruin his own personal night. People talk about Will Smith's night and how Chris Rock ruined it by making fun of his wife. No, Will Smith ruined it with his own behavior, and Jada Pinkett Smith ruined it by thinking she's way more important than she actually is. I mean, honestly, who cares about Jada Pinkett Smith in proportion to Will Smith? She's the anchor on this guy's career, not what's pushing it forward. And again, one more humiliation in public by Jada towards Will. That's what we saw tonight. Those are the people who are at fault. No one else at all, whatever excuses you want to make. But hey, those are just my thoughts. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. If you liked the video, show me by leaving a like, subscribe for more content, follow me on all my social media, support me via the support links in the description box. This has been me talking about the Real Talk's insane take on this. Till next time.